This conference will now be recorded.
Hello, Viresh.
Yes, Vikas, you're saying something.
Viresh, if you possible, can you give a couple of work examples?
Can you hear me?
I can hear
Hello.
you.
Uh,
Hello.
well,
Yes, we can
Hello, can you
hear.
hear me?
yeah, Karthik. Yes, Karthik, we can hear you. Yeah.
Yeah, Viresh. Actually, is there any chance you can give a couple of work
Hello.
examples?
Karthik, we can hear you. Um, oh, he's left. Yeah, Vikas, you're saying like work examples, you're saying, right? Like,
Yeah, I mean, a small project which we generally use in work, if we are just creating, yeah, this is example and one line program. I mean, just one line. It's a sort of I mean odd for me. I don't know, but what I'm expecting is maybe a small program, a small thing, just like adding in C language 2 plus 2. A small program, then we can understand easily, right? So that's why I'm asking if there is any chance.
yeah, like you're okay. This is a very generic question. So, in terms of Jenkins, an example where a project you want to build a project, like I'm trying to understand the question. Like only then I can answer it. Like,
So
is it
basically,
related to Jenkins build?
no, it's not
Uh,
related to Jenkins. I'm saying commonly the thing is that
mhm,
if I'm using the Jenkins, so what I am supposed to do? For example, you said me in the before class, we need to merge two of the projects. I mean, two of the projects, which is a Java. I mean, which a DevOps engineer has to do that one. So developing is and I mean the developer duty is to develop a program, and our duty is to merge those two programs. So we have got some conversation there, right? So instead of just
mhm.
creating files like a demo sample, one line, I mean, one line program, if you give me a small program, so we can really work it out and see what's happening. That's, I mean, a small example how we can use in Jenkins, a small example how we use in Maven's. That's how I'm expecting.
Um, again, yeah. The two or three questions are getting mixed there. Okay, so one part. Okay, what we learned in Git, is that clear? Like, we took one example, like we took a project, whatever files we worked on, like sample files, and we tried to work out a scenario which is likely to happen in real time. Is that part clear? Don't know. It's still in Jenkins, so don't come to Jenkins. So up to Git, is that part clear? Is the question, like yes or no? Like if we need more, it's real time only. Like you can take any file
I mean,
and Mhm.
I mean,
No,
I
yeah,
was
go ahead.
asking
Like
if it is a GitHub. I mean, if it is a Git or I mean, if it is a GitHub also.
mhm.
I mean, is if there is any live example, that would be good. We just created a demo file with a null project in that, and we are trying to use that one. We just tried if variable and we tried the display variable. We see where the file path is and all the stuff. But I was expecting I mean, why that? I mean, why that program? If the developer has given me a program and he tried to save in a path, and why we are taking out that from that path and what we are doing. So if it is a live example, then we can easily understand. So we took out this program from that path and we saved it and we made some edits. So this is making some outside, I mean, the output is different or there will be a change in the output. You got my point, right? What I'm trying to say.
I am getting your point in the sense you're saying a project which usually happens in any like
Company.
say in any company, and take that example and make some change, like say download that code make some change like a developer does, and then try to simulate the whole idea of merging and things like that you are saying.
Yes,
Is that okay?
yes.
Yeah, we can do that. That's not like a big thing. Like, see, already we have some projects over here, so we can get. So that part, I would like you to do that because, like, in the sense, I can give you the projects. Like, there are projects in here. In this, there are many projects. Let me
Yeah,
show
yeah,
you.
that's what I'm saying. If you
There are.
can give me just the
Uh,
project, we will refer
yeah,
to
yeah,
your
the projects are
and by using that project, we will work on that project. So then we will understand. So,
exactly,
okay, this error we got.
exactly.
So what happens if we get this error?
Exactly. So there are some projects which you can find online as well, and there are some of these projects like the Java project which we'll be using here, right? So this one also is sample. This is nothing much here. Like it's having an index.jsp file, right? So it'll also have this all HTML files only. So there's nothing different what we have seen. So even if you look at this example, we can download something from online as well because at the end, web application, you'll have some index files, right? So that's what we have taken as an example when we work with. So even in this example, you can see we have all the HTML body and yeah, looking at the code, you need not worry. See, it can be any file. Just if you think, okay, we need a project, let me search and provide it. It can be some sort of a coding you want to have a look at it. You want to have a feel. Okay,
Yeah,
definitely. Yeah,
when we are
I understand.
yeah,
I
when we are
understand.
discussing Git and you are
Mhm,
saying me the if and variables and all those stuff, then I was thinking, okay, are we getting into coding something serious or are we a bit away of the coding or so that's what I was confused. That's the reason I was asking if there is something already there is some I mean if there is already some program and we are
mhm.
trying to sort it out that I mean as a DevOps guy, so I had a program, so now I need to save it or I need to merge it or simulate it. So if that is
Uh,
the case, then I can easy I mean we can easily understand very
okay, so the whole what I'm trying to get from this conversation is we're okay. Let's make the roles very clear here. Okay, so what would be the developer role? I think it's clear, but still there is a slight amount of doubt there, I guess. Okay. All right. So let me do one thing. I'll give you a project like a sample project which you can work with. Like you can clone the project, you can make some changes there like a developer, right? Because that's a developer job who will be working on the code. As a DevOps guy, you will not be um, programming anything, right? So your role would be more on, excuse me, 1 minute. Uh, sorry, bad throat. 1 minute. All right. What I can help Vikas is I can like um, give you a sample project, right? Like this, and you can try out all the commands that we have learned on the GitHub, right? The Git commands that we have learned. So will that be helpful? Uh,
Yeah.
Or okay, trying to see how I can help here. Like uh, so is it okay? Okay, I understand because you haven't worked anything on the coding, right? Earlier, like you have any experience on the coding part, like
No, I never had.
okay, okay, okay. So
That's the
that way, okay.
reason I said.
Mm-hmm.
That's the reason I was asking if there is any work example.
Okay, okay, yeah. Okay. Um, the mm, okay. Let me think about it, and I will try to find project which you can. It's almost what we work on the live, and I'll let you know. Okay, definitely. That part. All right. On the Jenkins as well. See, the whole concepts remains the same, but anyways, all right. So let's continue with the Jenkins then. Here we have just looked at the freestyle project yesterday, right? Now we will have a look at the Maven. So yesterday we installed Maven. Let's go and configure manage Jenkins. The global tool configuration. So here add Maven is there. So you'll come and add a name here. Just give it as a name. It can be anything here, just a name. And install automatically will uncheck this one, and we will give the path where our Maven is installed. So that is there on the opt Maven folder. So this is there in this folder. So remember yesterday we installed it in this path opt Maven. This is the Maven home we have configured yesterday. So let's go get this path we have to configure here, and then just save it. It didn't save. Let's try it again. Okay, so it has been saved now. Let's go and create. Um, we'll take the same project here. Um, Sorry, we'll go back to our Jenkins freestyle project, and in here we will go to the configure option now. Okay. All right. So here, let's take the GitHub project, a sample Java project that we have here. We'll go to the Java project. We can just clone this, copy this URL, come back here and paste it here. Okay, that is done. Then we go to the Git.
Can you show me where did you copy that URL once again, please?
Yeah, it's there in the general tab. The general tab, we have got this GitHub project. So we just copied that URL here. And the second option is we go to the source code management, where we also click on the Git, and then on the repository URL we just put the URL here. Okay, and the credentials are not required because this is a public repository. In case you make it as private, then you need to first add the credentials in Jenkins, Okay, I'll show you how that can be done. Just click here. So you need to add the username and password. So click here. So it's okay. Okay. So you can add the username and password. Description ID you can leave it as blank. It'll generate auto generate and a number here. Description you can provide what type of key it is, and then you can save it. So once you save the username and password, so this username and password will be of your repository. Remember, so this is a repository, right? So if it is a private repository, then you need to provide the username and password. The username and password is the one you use to log into your GitHub. This is the login ID, username and password you need to provide it, right? Okay, so this is for the private repositories. For the public one, we can leave it as it is, not required, because anybody can access the public repository. All right. Then what are the branches? Branch specifier, you can go with the master, or if you have any specific branch you want to build, you can provide the details here, like develop or anything. Feature branch you can provide, but default is a master has been configured here. That's it. So this is the git we have. Now let's go to the build triggers. Again, we are not touching anything here. Build environment. We'll come to this one. So what we'll do is, um, so before we run any Maven command, let's try to understand the different phases that are available in Maven. Uh, you can call it as a build lifecycle in Maven. So there are these different stages. I think yeah, these are the different phases, or we can call in Maven. So initially, you have a source code. You want to validate it. So it will validate and see all the information is correct, like syntax wise, everything is fine or not. So it will validate first, and then you can compile. Compiling is you have a source code. There is a compiler which will compile that code, and it'll create an intermediary file there for the system to understand. So that is what we call as compiling the source code. Once it is compiled, you can run some tests, unit testing. You can run the unit testing on that one. Okay, so then you can finally go and package it. Packaging in the sense, there are different ways you can package an application. So let me just note it, make a note here. If I go to the Notepad++, um, let's take a new one. Let's copy this everything onto a new page. Okay. If it is a Java-based application, okay, if it's a Java-based application, you package that source code into a WAR file. It is called as a web archive, or it's called as a jar file. That means it's a Java archive, or it's a EAR enterprise archive, right? There are so any Java code you can package into these three forms. One is the web archive, one is the Java archive, and then is the enterprise archive. Similarly, we can have like if you are having .NET based application. .NET where you develop the code in C Sharp or any of the languages that is pertaining to Microsoft .NET. Then you package it into a DLL. Okay, the entire source code you are packaging into a DLL, or you can even have an exe as well. If it's an application, you can have an exe, which you can simply run it, right? Like what we have notepad.exe, not anything .exe file is there, right? You can either package it to an exe file or a DLL. All right. So we now are looking at this example, Java. So we will be packaging this into a var file for our case, in our scenario. Okay. So let's go back and see that this is what we mean by packaging. This is also called as a distributable format. Let's say I want to distribute my application. I'll create an exe and I can provide it to you, so that once you click on the exe, you can open the application. In the same way, jar, var, and er are the distributable formats that we have. Okay, that's the package part. And integration testing, you can run the integration testing once the packaging is done. Then the application is ready. You can run some integration test if you want to. Okay, and then we have got intermediate stage like verify, run any checks on the package is valid and meet some quality criteria. Okay, you can do that as well. And then finally install. Now when we say install, it will install the package on the local repository. So there's a folder called as M2. So it will go and install the package in the local repository. Okay. And when we say deploy means it will be deploying to one of the environments, or you can copy the final package to some remote repository. Now, remote repositories that are popular nowadays are we have got JFrog Artifactory. Remote repositories are Artifactory is one of the repository where we can store all the artifacts. Artifactory is one, Nexus is the other one, where we can store all our packages. Now, why do we store here is um, basically all the files that we are packaging, it will be having a versioning there. Okay, so it will create a version 1, version 2, version 3, right? All these versions are stored in the artifactories or in this Nexus. So as and when required, you can pick the version and you can install or you can deploy to any environment there. Okay, so this is the whole idea. So we'll see if we can install something with Artifactory, and we'll try to get one end-to-end scenario where we are deploying to Artifactory, and then we'll have a look at it. Okay, but I'm just giving an idea, like once the package is ready, so we can store it in one of these Artifactory or Nexus. Okay, so let's go back here. All right, then finally we have option to clean, and these are default options, we can use it. Okay, now how do you run this command? We can simply run the command like maven validate with mvn command, and then you can simply say validate and things like that. So we'll run that command and see in our project. So let's go and see maven, and we can say validate. Okay, so let's save this one, and we'll click on the build now option. Might fail, let's see. I think it'll fail. Okay, saying maven command not found. Let's go back to the freestyle project, the configure. Okay, so we'll do one thing, we can go with the source command. We'll write this command as opt maven because we know our maven home is available here. Okay, and then let's source the etc profile file as well. Okay, and let's save this file now. Okay, you can see that now it has started to validate, started to run this command. It is scanning for the project now, right? So there's nothing, no file as of now here. That's it's saying nothing to validate there, but the build is successful, right? The similar way we can also run after validate, we can run package. Let's go and run the package. So instead of validate, if I say package, so when I say package here, we need to remember that you are not skipping any of the previous phases. Even if I say package, it will start from validate, compile, test, and it will go with the final package. So if I just give as maven package, it will do all this step as validate, compile. If there is any test, it will run. Otherwise, it will skip it and then it will go with the packaging option. So let me save maven package and save this one. Okay, so let's go and build it now. So it has started to scan for the projects. Initially, what it will do is for the first time, it will download all the dependencies from this maven repo.maven. It's trying to connect to this maven online, maven central. This is called as maven central. It will download some of these plugins. Okay, these plugins, like if you remember in the pom.xml file yesterday we have seen, right? Maven resource plugin. So it will download all of these resources from online. It will try to connect. This will be one-time download, and this will be downloaded to the project directory. That we'll have a look at it and where it is downloaded. So the first time it will download. There are a lot of files it will download for the first time. You can call it as a dependencies files. Okay, and finally, once it is done, it is packaging the web app application, and this is the application name. It is packaged, and we'll be able to see this file here in the workspace. This is the name of the project. Target, under this target application, we'll be able to see the var file. You can see finally the var file is created. That is building var, and it is storing in this target directory. Um, so let's go to this path. Should be able to find it. Let me connect. Okay. So let me connect to this one. So this is a workplace workspace folder we have here. In this, we'll have the project name, freestyle project. Here, all the dependencies will be downloaded. Basically, the entire source code is being downloaded here. So it is having all, this is a source code is downloaded, entire source code, right? This source code is what the path we had given, right, in the URL. So initially, if you see at the beginning, so it is connecting to this repository, the name we had given, and it is started downloading everything to the workspace. So it'll copy all the code from here onto your workspace here, right? So this is code from the URL. Okay, and this target directory is where our application file will be there. So this is the web application dot var file is generated here. Again, I think you guys might have some questions here, right? Um, I'll is it very is it it's not clear? I think Vikas and Karthik, how about you? Like you're able to uh, okay. Okay, can you please help out Vikas with any of the because you have some experience on the development side, right? So if you can help him out with understanding this concept, at least share some insights. Just have a talk with him so that it'll be a little more clear. I'll also try to share some projects because it is little bit for the from It'll take time, I think, because if you're not having any coding experience, then it'll be a little bit, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, right. All right. Yeah, but at least you're able to, you know, these things, right? How we package an application. It can be anything. It can be Java or any different code, but at least the packaging, it's a common scenario where you have a piece of code. Finally, you want to ship it. You want to distribute your application. So one option is you can either deploy it as a website so that anybody on the internet can use the URL and they can connect to your application. Even in that case, you're deploying something. You have to package your entire source code and you're deploying it to some server, right? So for that, you have to build your application and then you have to deploy it so that it is accessible there. Or you can build it as an exe and provide it so that once you download that exe, you should be able to access the application, right? So these are different ways how you can build an application. The language can be anything. It can be Java, .NET, React, Node, PHP. It can be anything. Finally, it will be packaged. To package it, we'll have to look at the tools, how you can package it. Okay. I think I don't want to confuse more here. I'll try to look at an example, but I'll see how better I can help here because I cannot simulate the exact real-time scenario. What I can just give is a reference like how it would be, how it would look like in any organization. I'll try to see how best I can add an example and yeah, explain it in a much better way there.
Thank you.
All right. I think yeah, we'll stop it here then. Just go through this example. Okay. I'll anyways share this path here. Okay, just can put it to the chat window so that all the projects under this you can have a look at it. Okay, you can take any of these projects for your reference, and you can use their projects. Absolutely, they are fine. Yeah. All right. Tomorrow I'll see if I can get one example where we are using Artifactory as an example, and we will talk more about it in the tomorrow session then. Okay. And feel free to ask any questions so that there's no right or wrong question. So if something bothering you or you need more clarity, so that way I can prepare my session in that way so that it will be helpful. Otherwise, I assume some things, and if I go through with the session, then it might not be so effective and helpful for you guys. So do let me know, like some of the things you might have not worked, or even I might have not worked. So I need to just go back and get more details so that the session becomes more interactive and in an effective way. All right. So don't
Okay.
hesitate from asking any questions. I'll not be offended or anything. I'll try to explain my best on the if I know it. Otherwise, I can just go back and get more details for you guys. All right.
Okay then. See ya.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, guys. We'll talk tomorrow then. All right. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.